Hello everyone. When you think about powerhouse developers for the NES, you can't get very far without talking about Konami. These folks had their hands in so many classics across a bunch of different genres, and they helped define the NES era in a big way. Today, we're taking a look at my top 10 favorite Konami games on the NES. I tried to stick to just one game per series, which made this way harder than it had to be, but it also made for a really fun list. Let's dive in. I didn't play a lot of sports games on the NES when I was a kid. Ice hockey, published by Nintendo themselves, usually scratched that itch for me. But there's no denying that Blades of Steel has earned a ton of love over the years. This was an awesome arcade-style hockey game with surprisingly smooth gameplay for the time. Plus, it was the only hockey game that let you throw down in a fight mid-game. Sure, ice hockey had its brawls, but it was nothing compared to how it presented in Blades of Steel. Even though it wasn't one of my personal staples growing up, I have enough friends who rave about Blades of Steel to know it absolutely deserves a spot here. I'll admit, I didn't really play much Russian Attack growing up. But looking back, this game is pure 80s action movie energy. It's a side-scrolling military game where you infiltrate enemy bases using nothing but a knife and the occasional flamethrower or gun if you grab a power-up. It's a brutally tough game, and while it looks simple at first glance, it's one of those NES titles that rewards memorization and quick reflexes. Plus, it has one of those classic Konami soundtracks that somehow get stuck in your head after just a few minutes. The Adventures of Bayou Billy was one of those games that tried to do a little bit of everything. It's part beat-em-up, part shooter, part driving game, and while it doesn't necessarily excel at any one thing, it's got an undeniable charm. It was easy for Bayou Billy to get lost in the shuffle, especially when it was going up against big beat-em-ups like Double Dragon. But it's still a fun, campy experience that a lot of players remember fondly. And personally, my first exposure to Bayou Billy wasn't even on the NES. It was on one of those old Tiger handheld devices. Does anyone else remember those little nightmares? Stinger is one of those games that feels like it shouldn't work, but somehow totally does. It's a super weird, colorful shooter that's technically a part of the Twin B series, though a lot of American gamers didn't even realize that at the time. It's a mix of side-scrolling and vertical-scrolling stages with adorable little ships firing bells and beams at goofy enemies. It can get absolutely chaotic at times, but there's something incredibly cozy about it too. It might not have the name recognition of other Konami shooters, but Stinger holds a special place in my heart. It's kind of wild to think that Konami was the one who brought the Goonies to the NES, and even wilder that this game is a sequel not to the movie, but to a prior game that was released on the Famicom. Goonies II is a strange game, because it only loosely follows the events of the movie, but somehow it totally works. It's got this quirky, almost Metroidvania vibe, with a ton of exploration and hidden paths. Good luck beating it without a guide though. There's a lot of hit random walls until something happens logic going on here. Still, if you stick with it, and maybe whack a few old ladies along the way, it's a rewarding adventure that's still a blast today. Jackal is one of those games that pretty much everyone who played agrees it's just pure fun. You control a heavily armed jeep, storming enemy bases, rescuing POWs, and blowing up everything in your path. It's a little like Commando or Akari Warriors, but with way better pacing and a real sense of momentum. Honestly, it's crazy that Konami never gave Jackal an official sequel, because the gameplay was so solid. Thankfully, passionate fans have kept the spirit alive, with unofficial sequels and spiritual successors. A lot of folks' first experience with the Ninja Turtles on NES came from that first TMNT game, the side-scrolling one from 1989 that was, let's just say, a little brutal. But when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, dropped, it changed everything. This game was a faithful port of the beloved arcade beat-em-up, complete with 2 brand new levels and bosses created just for the NES version. It's a fantastic co-op game packed with that pure turtle power energy, and it's still one of the most fun ways to team up with a buddy and smash some Foot Clan heads. Choosing between Gradius and Life Force was tough, but I had to go with Life Force. It's technically part of the Gradius series, but it does a few things differently, and in my opinion, better. Most importantly, it offers simultaneous 2-player gameplay, which was a huge deal back then. It's a game that's brutally hard without the Konami code, but the experience is so worth it. Flying through grotesque alien environments, dodging walls of bullets, fighting giant brains and serpents. It's just pure awesome from start to finish. Contra is legendary, but it's also legendarily hard. If you didn't know about the Konami code growing up, you basically had no chance. 3 lives, no continues. Yeah, good luck with that. But once you punched in that magic code and snagged your 30 lives, Contra transformed into one of the most thrilling co-op experiences you could have on the NES. Tight controls, memorable levels, killer boss fights, it had it all. It's a game that still holds up today, and it kicked off a legacy that's lasted for decades. And here we are, the top Konami game on the NES. Castlevania isn't just a great NES game, it's a cornerstone of gaming history. It's a near-perfect blend of platforming, action, and that unmistakable gothic horror vibe. Every level, every boss, every piece of music, it's all iconic. And while later entries like Castlevania III push the NES hardware even further, there's something timeless about the original. It's challenging without feeling cheap, and it set the stage for one of the most beloved franchises in gaming. Plus, let's be real, that soundtrack still absolutely slaps. And that wraps up my top 10 Konami games on the NES. Konami's library on the system was absolutely stacked, and even with all the games on this list, there are still a ton of awesome ones I could have mentioned. Did I miss one of your favorites? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more retro gaming countdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, confession time. After I had written the script, recorded my audio, got it into my video recording software, I went to Fan Expo as a vendor. I ended up talking with some friends about the videos that I was making because this hadn't gone live yet. And I realized at that point that I left out a pretty big Konami game. Seriously, it's pretty big. It's been in one of my most recent videos, but here's the deal. I'll let you guess what game it was, and you can drop your answer in the comments. This probably isn't going to be my only oops, so maybe we'll make another video of all of those in the future. We'll see, maybe I'll get better in time. Check out our review for Arcade Paradise. It's a very fun, retro-heavy game. If you're into D&D, you can also check out our sister channel, Tellist, where we have plenty of maps on display. And we'll also be refreshing this channel with new retro reviews, so keep an eye out.